Dave from New Jersey. It's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren Patterson.
How's it going, man? Happy holidays, sir. We're in the holiday season.
Yeah, I guess we are. We're in December. Christmas is barreling towards us like a freight train. What are you all set? You looking forward to the holidays, or do you want Santa to not come to your house this year? What's going on?
Yeah, if he could not break into my home, that'd be cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the holidays. You know, seeing family, seeing friends, having dinner, eggnog aplenty. I'm one of the few weirdos that likes eggnog. I know a lot of people can either take it or leave it. I still every time I hear eggnog, I think of that Dave Attell joke, like. It's like somebody. How did somebody think of eggnog? It's like somebody said, "I want to get a little drunk, but I also want some pancakes."
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd forgotten that one.
Yeah.
Skanks for the Memories, folks. One of the best stand-up albums ever.
Dude, there was a time I knew that entire album word for word, beat for beat, like heart. Like I could recite that thing backward and forwards. I mean,
you can probably find the whole thing on YouTube now. I think there are a lot of like comedy albums on YouTube. And worth checking out. And just Google Dave Attell and prepare for some hilarity. He's one of the best to ever do it, man.
He really is. He still's got it too. He's like one of those comics who, like, you don't know much about his past. He doesn't talk about his family or his personal stuff.
That's true. Yeah, it's just boom, 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 joke after joke after joke, and just the density of the number of jokes. It's incredible, and they're just bangers. And he's great at crowd work, and he's terrific.
Yeah, like you don't know his political leanings, you don't know anything about him. All you know are these jokes, and
all you know is this dude is fucking funny. So, and that's really all you need.
That's all you need. Dave Attell, huzzah!
This dude, or this lady, because ladies can be stand-up comedians too.
That's right. Ladies can do it too.
Yeah, sisters are doing it for themselves.
Yas, queen.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Saturday Night Live, and if this is your first time here in the SNL Nerds podcast, welcome. Thank you for tuning us in on your radio dial. I don't know how podcasts work. I'm John. He's Darren. We talk about SNL and stuff. This week we're talking about Paul Mescal and Shaboozey, which is the season 50, episode 8 from December 7th, 2024, Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh, never forget.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Paul. I thought his last name was pronounced Mescal, but it's actually Mescal, because like he pronounced it Mescal when he came out, and the announcer said Mescal. So it's like, oh, okay.
It's Mescal. Okay.
Mescal,
Okay, so I mispronounced the dude's name. I didn't notice that. Mescal. Paul Mescal.
But I mean, that's fine. Like, I don't think a lot of people know much about him, other than he's in the new Gladiator 2 film. He's like the lead. Yeah. I mean, if you look at his filmography before that, it's a lot of indie films. Mm-hmm. A lot of small films where he's like, sad and crying. He was in a film All of Us Strangers with Andrew Scott, aka Moriarty. So
and
like
Hot Priest,
of course. So yeah, he's a bit of an unknown entity. So this is like his way of kind of breaking into the mainstream.
And sometimes SNL, they do that. They tap somebody to be a host who's kind of on the way up, or maybe, a star of the future. I remember like back in the day, they had Matthew Modine host before he was really a known quantity. And he came out and he was like, oh, well, thank you for that applause, considering none of you know who I am. And so it's kind of interesting when SNL does this once in a while.
Yeah, they're playing like tastemakers.
Yeah, and we weren't really familiar with Shaboozey ahead of time either. We had to, you did a little research on him. You were like, "Oh, he's a country guy," and I was like, "Really? I would not have expected that with that name." Shaboozey does not sound like a country musician.
He does not, but I mean, there's a lot of country artists now, like Jelly Roll and Post Malone is getting into the country world, and Beyonce had that country album out. For some reason, a lot of pop stars are getting into country now. Like it's like the hot new fad to be a country star.
It's kind of the trendy thing right now. It's funky.
So Shaboozey, interesting dude. Like his single that he had played on the show, Tipsy, a bar song, is like. I think it's been the top 100 charts for like the past 17 weeks or something like that. It broke some records. It's like a pretty well-known song. Like it's a pretty big.
Well, good for you, Shaboozey.
Good for you, Shaboozey.
Yeah.
Dad jokes, pow.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's get into it. Let's get into the show. First off, with the cold open, it's Church Chat 2024 cold open. We got Dana Carvey, I guess, still hanging around the studios. He's like, hey, you got anything for Biden this week? They're like, no, not so much, Dana. You want to do Church Lady? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. And yeah, Church Chat, Church Lady. Whoa, it's been a minute.
This is hitting us where we live, because like back when Darren and I first started watching the show, it was back in the mid '80s, back when Dana was in the regular cast, and yeah, Church Lady was like probably the first breakout character I was really conscious of. So it's always kind of fun to see Church Lady return. I think it's an old favorite.
It is, just dust off the cobwebs there. A Church Lady comes out, talks about 2024, the most satanic year in history.
Yeah, and we start out appropriately enough with Sarah Sherman as Matt Gaetz, and Church Lady says, "Looks like your forehead's trying to get into heaven without you."
Pretty good joke.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like making fun of his physical appearance.
Indeed, haha.
Yeah,
I also liked how the Church Lady was talking about how all the girls out there are trying to be like Sabrina Carpenter, just all provocative. Or like, well, do you know who was the best carpenter? Jesus.
Yeah. And then at one point she says, "There's only 17 days left till Christmas," and Matt Gaetz says, "You had me at 17." Like he goes that old. Ha! But seriously, release the ethics report, please.
Yeah. I mean, what are we doing, people?
And yeah, so it's fun. I enjoy that we're going to continue with Sarah as Matt Gaetz. That's fun.
And then comes out, oh my God, David Spade as Hunter Biden?
David Spade as Hunter Biden, recently pardoned by his father, the president. So yeah, Dana Carvey's podcast partner and another, I don't want to say old cast member, former cast member. What's the most respectful way to say it?
Yeah, that's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
I do like how he called the Church Lady a church woman.
Yes.
She corrected him, saying, well, actually, it's Church Lady. It's like, oh, well, pardon me.
Yeah, that was cute. And when she starts giving him grief, he says, "Oh, I thought it was a good thing for the father to forgive the son." And he also had a good line. He said, "Much like Trump, they went after me because of my name and all the illegal things I did."
Yeah. He also had another joke that I did get a pretty big laugh out of, where like he was comparing himself to Jesus, and then she said, well, last I checked, Jesus wasn't hanging around prostitutes with an open robe with no underwear. And then he just shoots back, I think he was.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a solid joke. I like that.
That is. That's a pretty good way to address the whole Hunter Biden thing. What do you think about the pardon? Let's get political for a moment. Do you think that was a cool thing for him to do? Do you think, because he did say a number of times he wasn't going to do it.
He did. Oh boy, it put me.
Or do you have no opinion?
I see both sides of it. Yeah, he did promise he wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
So him doing it kind of goes back on his word. But then again, the guy that's gonna be our president, he's pardoned so many people that don't deserve it,
and he's gonna pardon so many,
and he's gonna like he did. He's gonna be back out in the streets. If
he's also said like he's gonna pardon all the January 6th, rioters.
Exactly. So is that fair if like he pardons them?
And from what I understand, like the people he's appointing were had a real, I'll just say a real hard on for prosecuting Hunter Biden. So yeah, I honestly don't blame Biden that much.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like nobody's playing by the rules anymore. Nobody's a man of their word. Or
look, if this is the worst thing that Biden does on his way out of office, that's fine. Because as far as I'm concerned, the whole witch hunt for him was just blown out of proportion anyway. So
it really was, and it just seems like nobody's playing fair. So fuck it. Let's just all just cheat and fuck around.
Yeah, what are rules?
What rules? We don't need no stinking badges.
And lastly, we had Marcelo as Juan Soto, who is a free agent baseball player who I heard about for the very first time in this sketch.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't follow sports,
you may be a host of this podcast.
Oh, You may be either you or me.
Yes. So yeah, let's see. I wrote down. Well, isn't that? Oh, yeah. The church lady said, "Well, isn't that Spanish?" That was kind of
That's
cute.
clever.
Yeah,
Yeah. Of course, church lady asks Juan Soto if he goes to church. He says, "Well, I'm Latin, so I went once on Christmas. Growing up, I went once on Christmas, once on Easter, and twice every other day."
yeah, yeah.
And
So
then, of course, she asks him, "Well, you're going to make all this money. Do you have a team that you want to go for?" And she's like, "Well, I hope I get signed with the Yankees." And then
and she
church
says,
ladies,
"Oh, you should help the less fortunate." And he says, "Oh, well, then I hope I get signed with the Mets."
yeah, that's
And
funny.
look, I'm not a sports fan, but even I can appreciate a good Mets joke. So
Everybody knows the Mets suck.
yeah, I mean that's what they tell me. So
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't
Muscular
know. I never watched the game. So
Yeah, they're not. I think they get it all right this year, but in all, they haven't been done well since like maybe '86 or something. But yeah,
it goes back a long time. I actually like this week. I happened to be watching the pilot episode of Get Smart. Do you remember that show?
of course, yeah,
Yeah,
Maxwell Smart.
Maxwell Smart, and he's doing like a password to meet this other agent, and the password was supposed to be like, oh, the Mets won a doubleheader, and then the Mets really win a doubleheader, and they present it as this huge unexpected thing. So even in like 1965, they were just kind of infamous for not doing so well. They're
Meet the
I
Mets.
don't think they're good at baseball, Darren.
They don't do the baseballings quite well,
Yeah.
but someday,
So
someday.
anyway, but yeah, and then everybody sings a song. Satan had a good year.
Yeah, that was an odd way to end it. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah,
And then, of course, they did the little church lady shuffle.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I like this. I did like this cold open. I thought it could have been a little bit. Maybe the way it ended, it
Could have
wouldn't.
been better.
Yeah. And also, I don't know about you. Did you feel like Dana Carvey was kind of low energy throughout it? It seemed like there were
Hmm.
some times where he was saying his catchphrase, "Well, isn't that special?" And like he
Uh
usually like
huh.
really leans into it, like, "Well, isn't that special?" But there's a few times where he just kind of said it, just like, "Oh, well, isn't that special? Isn't how convenient?" I
Hmm.
was like, I don't know.
I can't say I really noticed it. I did only watch this one once, so I don't know. I
Okay,
will.
he's
I will be. I will abstain from a decision. I am neutral. I am Switzerland on this
mm,
question.
John's
Not
Switzerland.
gonna dare.
Not gonna. But
Yeah.
overall, I did like this cold open. I think it's definitely one of the better ones of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's only a few tweaks away from being like really like a home run. I thought.
Darren, show doesn't go on because it's ready. The show goes on because it's 11:30.
Yes, Lorne.
I mean, I thought it was fun. It was, it's like seeing the church late again. It's like seeing an old friend. So I enjoyed
Yes.
it in that regard. So I suppose I'm grading this on a bit of a curve.
Yeah.
I noticed the wig was a little different. Like the church lady's hair was a little longer. I was like, oh, did they not find the old wig? What's
Yeah.
going
What happened to
on?
the old? Did they not replicate that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Maybe something happened to the wig.
Hmm. But yeah, overall, decent cold open. Not too shabby.
Yeah,
I dug it.
good start to the show. I mean, God knows they've done worse.
Oh, and they have.
So let's see. We got the Paul Mescal monologue.
Yes.
So he comes out. He's Irish.
Oi.
Talks about that. He says, oh, I've got this long history of funny performances. They do a montage of him crying in his movies.
Yes, a lot of him crying shirtless.
Hmm.
At one point, he punches a wall, screaming and bleeds and cries.
Right, as we all do. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
you
that's
know,
what I do every Sunday before we record this podcast.
yeah, comedy.
Right. And then he goes into like stereotypes about the Irish.
How they want to have sex with their cousins. That's not
Right,
true. They have sex with their second cousins.
right.
How they hate British people. That's not true. They don't consider them people.
That's cute.
Uh, yeah. Talking about the Notre Dame fighting Irish mascot. If that's offensive, that no, not really. We in Ireland we have our own mascot, the fighting American fighting fat asses,
Yeah,
and it's like a
and
little
it's just a variation of the Notre Dame fighting Irish mascot.
yes,
And then because they had, I guess there was a paparazzi photo of him in short shorts. Marcelo comes out in short shorts, and it's like, okay, you guys really had a whole lot of nothing to write about this monologue.
Yeah, they're real. I mean, I get why they threw Marcelo in there because he seems to be on the rise, and
Uh huh.
like people really seem to like him. Like as soon as he
Yeah,
comes
with the
out,
whole Domingo thing.
yeah, like with the Domingo pop, he seems to be like kind of their new, I guess, like maybe their new Pete Davidson or their new like Jimmy Fallon back when he was
I
a younger
hadn't thought
man.
of that, but yeah, maybe he is on the verge of becoming a breakout guy.
The ladies like him. The
I
ladies
guess
like
so.
him.
Okay, all right.
So like put in some short shorts and tell them to get out there and prance around and show your legs.
Right, right. It
Shake
just
it for me.
very random way to end it.
It is. It was pretty weak ending. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you took a picture in short shorts. So Marcelo Dollface, why don't you put on some short shorts out there and dance around for the people, show the goods.
Yeah. So just a weird sort of scattershot monologue. And I'm not nuts about it when they do that. I'd rather just if it's an actual stand-up routine, it's fine if you go from topic to topic. But
Right.
yeah, when it's a celebrity just coming out, I generally prefer the monologue to be about one thing.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. It was definitely like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it.
So we could go either way at this point. Still, first sketch just called Earring, and
Yes.
you got Paul Mescal as a kid home from college. He's just gotten an earring, and
What?
he's having dinner with his parents. His parents don't approve. They're giving him grief about his earring in the year of our Lord 2024.
Yeah. Like, I thought people weren't. People, I guess maybe some sections of the country, people still freaked out over an earring, but that,
I can believe it. I mean,
yeah,
from the first line of the sketch, they do establish that these are just like terribly unhip white people. With the story the mother is telling about, like, oh ma'am, this is actually a Chipotle. um,
yes, yes,
so I thought that was a good way of just kind of establishing what sort of family it was.
yeah,
I did notice when I rewatched the sketch just now. She tells him, like, "Oh, hey, don't wear your hat at the dinner table," and so he takes off his hat, and then she sees the earring. At the beginning, his hat is not covering the earring. You can totally see it.
oh, oops,
The sketch is based on a lie.
oh dear.
But I like how she immediately is like, she says to her husband, "Stephen, do something."
Yeah, so the parents are played by Heidi and Emil, new
Hmm.
cast member, and yeah, like that's kind of basically the sketch, like them kind of
Yeah.
really freaking out over the fact that their son has an earring, and
Hmm.
then they say things like, "Oh, that's cool to have an earring. Well, would it be cool if I just started peeing on the floor? Would that be
Yeah.
cool now? Is that cool?" Is it, and they're saying, "Oh, who's the bisexual woman you're trying to impress with
Yeah.
that
And the
earring?"
yeah, and the son says that's really homophobic, and they say, "Oh, you think we're homophobic? Your father's been gay for 15 years."
Yeah, I mean, it's a sketch that it's a very simple premise, and it's just
Hmm.
the whole thing is just basically based on the performer's performance, carrying the
Well,
sketch and
I
elevating it.
think the writing was also clever because I think they had some good lines in the writing. I was pretty impressed with that. Like another line I liked to cancel my doctor's appointment tomorrow. I want a sex worker to take my cholesterol. and and I like the absurd touch of they threw the grandmother out the window not once but twice.
Yes, that was funny. All right, I'll give you
That
that.
was that was like the grandmother wanders back in after she's tossed through the window, and then they toss her out the other window. That was
Yeah,
great.
because that the grandmother's played by new cast member Ashley Padilla, and
Hmm.
I think at one point Heidi says, "Well, what if I roundhouse Nana? What if I roundhouse kick Nana in the stomach? Would that be cool?" And then
Yeah, yeah,
she waddles in, it's like, "Oh, I'm so happy for my grandson," and then
right.
Heidi just immediately grabs her and throws her out the window.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, I like the absurdity of this. I liked that it went to extremes quickly, and I like the button at the end. I like when Longfellow comes in as the little brother, and he's like full goth with in leather, and he's got all sorts of piercings and stuff. And the dad just goes, "Oh well, that's different. He looks good."
Yes, he can pull it
um,
off.
I liked just ending on that note. I liked that the sketch had an actual punchline. I think it was a real strong sketch to start the night with. It might be my sketch of the night.
Ooh, wow. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
like this sketch. I thought it was cool. I thought it was good. But
yeah.
you have me coming around on it now, my friend.
I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think you liked it enough, Darren.
I liked it, but I don't know. I got to figure out
But
why
not enough.
I didn't.
But not enough, Darren.
The performances were there. I will give them that. Like
Uh huh.
Heidi and Emil were really just digging into it.
What, you didn't like the writing?
No,
What more do they have to do, Darren? Open a vein?
yes, open. I want blood.
Oh
It was funny
God.
when like I think Heidi went away
Hmm.
out of the room for a minute. She came back and she like pierced a spatula to her ear in her
Yeah,
leg.
yeah. I mean, I was just impressed that they did whatever they did to apply that so quickly. I guess they just had some sort of prosthetic thing that they just stuck or clipped on her ear. But she even had like a little blood dripping on her sweater. That was really well done. Yeah,
Yeah. It's like, oh, am I cool now? I got a piercing too. I got a spatula
yeah,
from here. That was the speed with which they were able to pull that off. I thought it was impressive.
yeah. That was good. That was good. So yeah, good sketch. I understand why it led off the night.
Absolutely.
Next, we had the Gladiator 2 trailer talking about how Gladiator 2 doing well in the theaters, but because Wicked and Momoa 2 are both doing so well, they decided to make it a musical.
Yes, they rushed some reshoots. Now it's a musical.
And they got 50 minutes of songs.
Yeah, there's no place like Rome.
Right.
Swords and sandals, whores and scandals.
Yeah, yeah. This is one you really just have to see. I mean, because it's all in the songs and the performances, and I thought this was funny. I was really impressed with the production value that they got
Yeah,
into it. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. It was a really good production. I thought like the songs were actually really catchy.
hmm
I like as the gladiator Paul Mescal's looking over at Rome, and he
right.
looks at the camera and he does that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like it here.
Yeah, I mean, I liked when he's like doing a number and he's doing dance moves and he's going around and he's like chopping off people's hands and heads, and I mean, it was really good. And I like the pull quote they had from Ridley Scott. I was not told about this, raves Ridley Scott. And we have like a Hamilton thing with Mikey as the emperor, and um,
Yes,
I mean, yeah, it was really good. I think this is going to be the breakout sketch of this week.
I would say so. Yeah, just because it's it's a play on Wicked. Wicked is trending right now. Everybody loves
Right?
Wicked. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. Like people are gushing over it. Like
People go nuts for the Wicked.
yes, people
I
are loving it.
I know of Wicked. I remember I
Oh
bought
really?
my girlfriend at the time the novel back in the day, and but I never saw the musical. I haven't seen the movie. I doubt I'm going to go to the theaters to see the movie. So yeah, the
Okay.
Wicked phenomenon's kind of passed me by.
Yeah, same thing. I didn't. It's a musical I always wanted to see
Yeah,
in the theater, but for whatever reason, I just never got around to seeing it. So
because you hate women.
well, not because of just that, but I just
Oh,
never
okay,
got around to seeing it. That's only one of
right.
the
And
reasons.
you hate women.
Yeah, well, yes, and that.
Okay, yeah,
But yeah, but so I might just check this movie out just to
yeah.
satiate my curiosity, see
Well,
what the
I
fuck
know
it
it
is.
is part one of two, and it's I think it's like 2 hours 50 minutes, something like that. Some
It's yeah, this
really
movie.
long.
Yeah, it's almost 3 hours, and it's only the first part.
Yeah,
So buckle up, kids.
that's I don't like how they do that. How they just split every movie into two. It seems like they've been doing that since I think it was like the last couple Harry Potter movies. They split the last novel in two, and
Yeah, I know the Hobbit was a real big deal too for people. Where
yeah, I think the studios they just like doing it so they can milk it a little
yeah,
more, and
like a
yeah,
fine cow.
yeah,
I did like the scene where Jane Wickline plays the wife of the
mm.
warrior, and she's like talking about how her husband's away. I can't wait for him to come back. Oh, look at this angry army coming towards me. Oh, they must be friends of my of my husband. Cut to
And then
her
it just cuts to her dead on the
dead,
ground.
bleeding on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. That was funny. It was a funny sketch. I like this. This is
It
funny,
was good.
and
Yeah,
Paul Mescal, he did a great job. He was really good in it, and
yeah,
and it's fun to see somebody like parodying their movie while the movie's in theaters.
yes. That's always
That's fun.
yeah. So far, Paul Mescal's kind of showing like, oh, he's game for this.
He
He's
was a
up
good
for it.
host. I was pretty impressed with him overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did a nice job. Like all I want from a host is that they're game and
Hmm.
they're giving it their all. And yeah, I'd say he passed that test.
Yes, thumbs up, Paul Mescal.
Yeah. Next we have Italian restaurant commercial. We have Paul Mescal and new cast member Ashley Padilla. Is it Padilla or Padilla? I forget which.
I think Padilla.
Padilla. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how
Um,
the announcer says it.
okay. All right. Well, I mean, in Daryl Hammond we trust. So,
Mm,
and they're actors in a commercial for an Italian restaurant, and Ashley, like he's playing an old hand at it. She's new at it, and she at the end of her script she says, possibilities instead of possibilities.
Yeah.
And he gets kind of bent out of shape at her improv.
Yeah, and because it's like a line she just improvised, but the director, played by Mikey Day, and
Mm-hmm.
the clapboard guy, played by Devin, they like it. It's like, oh, maybe we'll keep that in. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
he's and Paul
And
as the old hand that is like, well,
he's
he's
like,
really been
what
spending
are
his
we
money.
doing? I feel
Yeah,
like I've entered Crazy Town.
what this amateur hour?
Yeah.
And so
And
he's
so he tries his own variations, like spaghetti or not, here we come, and
yeah,
pasta la vista, baby.
yeah, and like they are not working.
No.
But Ashley's trying to comfort him. It's like, no, you're trying new things. You're doing what you can. And
Yeah.
he's like, shut up,
Yeah.
shut
And
your mouth.
what's his name? Keenan. He comes in at the end, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the Italian owner, and I like what you're doing, and yeah, that's what we're gonna do." So
Yeah, the end.
I can just tell from the sigh you didn't care for this much. Yeah.
No, I mean, like the first parts of the sketch, I was like, all right, there's
Okay,
something.
you just didn't care for the ending when Keenan came in.
I thought the ending was kind of weak. They did the thing that
Uh-huh.
they kind of do where it seems like they didn't have a strong ending for this, so they just
Yeah,
used Keenan as their the one
he
to
can be
solve
a crutch
everything.
at times. Yeah,
He can be, and
he
like
he came in. I was like, Keenan is an Italian guy, really? Okay, all right.
I think they once they realize we don't have a super strong ending for this, let's just dip this into absurd town
Yeah,
and have
yeah.
Keenan be the Italian guy, even though he absolutely does not look Italian. Yeah, the ending was like kind of weak, but I there was some parts of it I kind of liked in this one, but it never
I
really
enjoyed
came.
it. I thought, yeah, it was cute.
Yeah,
And this was a really good week for the new cast members. I mean, like Ashley, Emil, and Jane Wickline, they all had something to do, something significant, I would say,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
so that was fun to see. It's nice to see them getting like bigger parts and sketches and stuff.
Here,
Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, this sketch wasn't terrible, but it was just kind of I don't quite know what we're doing here at the end.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I see that. I see that.
Yeah, but yeah.
All
Uh,
right, next we have a film by Please Don't Destroy. What?
didn't what? Not something that didn't get cut for time? You kidding me?
Wow! Yay! All
All
right.
right,
Yes.
high
Okay.
fives.
Now we're in business. All right.
Now we're cooking with gas.
This is what, like their second or third thing of the season?
I swear it feels like that.
Yeah, it's we got kind of spoiled for Please Don't Destroy last season, and we're kind of starving for PDD content this
Mm,
this year. So
just chomping at the bit.
this was nice to see. I was really excited when they said a film by Please Don't Destroy at the beginning. So I was like, oh yay, because we're just not getting enough.
Hooray!
Yeah, like come on, the Foggy Mountain movie didn't do that bad.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, don't disown them just yet.
Yeah. Anyway, this was Paul Mescal as Daddy.
Mm.
And so it's, SNL writing night. They're meeting with Paul in their office and they say they love him. And he starts getting all weird about it and starts talking about how they could build a life together.
Yeah, so basically it starts. Yeah, that's basically this sketch. I did like that
Yeah.
first joke where Martin talks about his girlfriend and how she
Uh huh.
said, "Oh, Paul Mescal's hosting. I wish he would crush me like a watermelon between his two gorgeous thighs." And then he's like, "Oh wow, your girlfriend sounds really like she really likes Paul." It's like, "Yeah, she does." And then he kind of looks really crestfallen after
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that.
Just the look. Yeah. That was good. That was good. And yeah. And Paul Mescal starts talking about how he'll be their daddy and were they singing a song? Was that it, or was it?
No
Okay,
songs.
yeah, it almost felt like a song. I didn't rewatch this one, so I'm working on my vague memories at this
Okay.
point. But I know the local militia came after them because they don't understand their love.
Yes, yeah. Basically, basically the PDD boys like, oh, we love hanging around you guys, man. We love you. And then
Hmm.
Paul is like, oh, I love you too, man. Wow, I guess
Yeah,
yeah, I'm in love with you. I mean, maybe we should all move together in a cabin, and we could play hide and seek, and I could read you stories and teach you how to hunt.
yeah, yeah. And that comes in handy later on because they're holding off the militia with their bow and arrow skills, their archery skills, and I mean, I was really impressed with this technically. Like after our recent interviews with Mike Diva and the production designer whose name I'm blanking on right now.
Oh yes, yes, yes. Andrea.
Yes, Andrea. Um, I was just impressed with like they built this cabin and it was like a night scene, and and it looks amazing. And I know they're just all doing this in some warehouse in New York, and
It
incredible
does look
stuff.
impressive, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, what they're able to do with shut in such short time is really
Hmm.
quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
quite a feat.
So tip of the hat to the SNL production team.
Mhm.
They did amazing. The pre-tape team specifically.
Yes. Uh, but overall, not a bad pre-tape, I'd say. I
Hmm.
mean, I think they've had funnier ones, but I thought this one was okay.
This was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it, and it's just fun seeing Please Don't Destroy in the show again, and getting their sensibility into the show. Beyond just the sketches they write.
Yes, absolutely.
So
So not too bad, not too shabby. So far, this show's cooking. It's chugging along.
yeah, it's a pretty good show overall. Next we have a sketch called Pirates, which a
Hmm.
group of ladies at the Swashbucklers All Male Review Treasure Guyland. And I gotta say, I had some initial disappointment with this sketch because okay, we got a bunch of the male cast members and they're in like wigs and fake beards. And when the sketch starts out, it's a little low light. So when I saw Paul Mescal with his fake beard and his wig, at first I thought he looked like Will Forte, and I was like, "Oh, Will Forte's making a cameo appearance in this episode. Awesome!"
Uh huh.
And then when the lights, went up a bit, I see it's actually the host of the week. I was like, "Oh, that's not Will Forte."
Oh,
Oh, damn.
womp
And
womp.
so, yeah, so I was kind of dejected for the rest of the sketch. So that's where I was mentally during this.
I wanted to see Will Forte dance at the male review stripper.
Yeah, well, it just seemed like, him playing a male stripper pirate, that just seemed like such a Will Forte thing to do. I didn't even question it for like a second or two.
That does seem
And
like his mo.
yeah, yeah. And so anyway, so yeah, the joke is the strippers, they're all a little too into their pirate characters and they never really get around to actually stripping.
Yeah, basically they really lean into their characters, and there's so much detail to it.
Uh-huh.
You know, talking about how they've gotten scurvy and going to
Yeah,
the
he'll be dead in a
Bahamas.
week, and it's
Yeah,
better to kill him now because then give his rations to another person for 5 days. And
yeah, exactly. And yeah, they get look. There's so much backstory that they end
yeah,
up not actually stripping. It's actually become like a
right.
play about pirates.
Yeah, yeah.
And the girls aren't into it except for Ego, who's like,
Ego
"Ooh,"
is like really into piracy.
yeah, it's like, "Ooh, shout out to the Port Royal name check there. I'm horny as hell."
Right, right. And Emil is there. He's as a pirate who's got two peg legs, and I loved him just like crossing one peg leg over the other. That was very funny.
That was a funny visual. I was trying to find a GIF of that, so that would be the one I could put out when I
Right,
post
yeah.
it on Twitter. But
That would be the one to do. And yeah, and they Heidi is like the bachelor party or bachelorette party girl, and they bring her up on stage, and then they like throw her overboard. This was very odd. I didn't hate it though.
yeah,
It was funny. It was bizarre, but it was funny.
I'd agree with you. It was bizarre, but it was still pretty funny. I still got a
Yeah.
kick out of it. Like
Hmm.
I think the peg legs crossing was the highlight for me for the.
That made it for me. I was like,
It's
okay, look, I forgive you for not having Will Forte in your sketch now.
yes, exactly. That will make up for it.
But Will Forte would have fucking killed it. Let me
Well,
just say.
Will Forte with two pegs legs crossing them, comedy gold,
Yeah,
and the Emmy
you were
goes
welcome
to him.
back anytime, Will Forte.
Absolutely. But yeah, not a bad sketch. Not a bad
Hmm.
sketch. I got a kick out of it.
Yep. Anything
Uh,
else to say on it?
no, not really. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting
On to the
sketch.
musical guest.
Shaboozey.
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 He did
Yeah,
two numbers. He did Good News and a bar song, parentheses, Tipsy.
yeah. I
Um,
know that the last song he did, that was the big radio breakout hit he had because
uh-huh,
it's kind
uh-huh.
of a play on another song by what was it, Chingy that did that. It was like it was a rap song called Tipsy back in the early aughts. Like
The song was called Chinky?
no, Tipsy.
No,
The,
no, but you were saying the song it was based on.
the rapper, I think, name was Chingy.
Chingy. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought you said Chinky, and I
no,
was like, oh, that's a
that's
problematic name.
that's a slur, sir. Oh,
Okay,
that's
all
not even
right.
Chingy. It was Jaquan. Yes, Jaquan. He did it. My mistake. All right,
Okay,
so
all right.
apologize to Chingy, but yeah, it was like a hit song he had back in '04, where it goes like one, here comes the two to the three to the four, everybody in the club getting tipsy, and so Shaboozey kind of took that part of the song and turned it into this country song.
Oh, so it was a
Uh,
bit of a remix. Okay,
Bit of a
all right.
remix. Um,
So, I like this. It's not what I would have expected from somebody with that name. Like I said, you don't expect a black man to get twangy in country.
it happens. There's some black country singers out there.
Yeah, yeah. It was just surprising, and like not what I would have expected of a person with the name Shaboozey. It
I
just
will give
doesn't
you
sound
that.
like a
Yeah,
country artist to me.
yeah. It's just country artists are usually named like Blake or
Right,
Travis or
right.
Curtis, not Curtis. Brock, something
Do you
country.
remember that Key and Peele sketch where Keegan Michael Key is playing this guy? He's having Jordan Peele over for dinner, and he starts playing him songs on his guitar, and they're country songs.
I
But
don't think so.
Keegan doesn't realize that they're all like kind of racist.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, no, there's like howdy 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 he gotta find me a guy string him up from a tree. I
Oh
mean,
my.
and Jordan Peele's like pretty racist song, dude, and he's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, well, string it up, people. And he's like, oh, well, but it can't be racist. I'm black.
Yes, it's heritage, not hate.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And and he's like, no, I see. I think that's what you're bringing to it. It's just you hear something with the twang, you start hearing something racist.
Wow. Yeah.
And
No, I don't think I remember that
I'll
one.
have to send that one over to you. It's very funny. I've rewatched it a few times.
Yes, please do,
Uh,
sir.
yeah,
Absolutely. But yeah,
but
overall, I thought both performances by Shaboozey, they're good. They're pleasant.
yeah,
He's a good singer. He's charismatic, and
yeah,
it's good.
good stuff. I'm not typically a country music person. I don't know. I don't. I don't go for like the ultra twangy, and this was like maybe at the upper limits of my twangy that I will tolerate. But
I
yeah, this was pretty good.
Yeah, like I'm with you. I like a lot of different genres of music. Rock and hip hop, R&B, pop, but I feel
You
like
like both kinds, country and western.
yes, but I feel like classical and country are the two genres I really haven't been able to get into. I can get into southern rock,
Uh
but
huh.
I can't get like country, like straight up country music.
Yeah.
Like you could play a country song that everybody who's a fan of country music agrees is one of the best country songs. I'll listen to it. And I'll be like, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I don't I like country flavored rock. I mean,
Mm.
I like me, some Eagles, some Michael Nesmith, some, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I'll
Hell
listen to that
yeah.
all day long. But when it gets into full blown country, yeah, that train kind of leaves me at the station.
I'm with you. Like southern rock I can get into, folk I can get into, but
Hmm.
country, nah, man.
Yeah,
Nah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
Shaboozey,
Shaboozey,
pleasant.
pretty good though. Yeah,
Pretty good.
I enjoyed him.
Mhm. Weekend update.
Weekend update with Colin Drost and Michael Che.
Hey. We got some jokes about a CEO assassin manhunt out there. Because,
How nutty is this story, man?
wow. Wow.
Um, So yeah, the if you're listening to this in the far future, the thing that happened in the news this week, the CEO of United Healthcare was shot and killed in the street, like basically assassinated, um, which has prompted a ton of people just to start talking about how horrible our healthcare system is in this country.
Yeah, because, like, I mean, as far as I know, as of this recording, they still haven't caught the guy. He got away in a
No,
city bike, and
yeah.
he made his way to a hostel, which I found out was like a hostel that a lot of comedians I know, including myself, has done an open mic at.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I did see some of the talk about that. Yes, some of the New York comedians were
Yeah,
talking about that. They were
it's like,
like,
oh,
"Hey, is this where this mic was happening?" And
like,
yeah,
jazz at the park? Like, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh shit.
yeah. And so and apparently now the theory is he got out of the city on a Port Authority bus,
Right.
and like people are just so mad at healthcare companies because like I think United. healthcare in particular is turned down like as much as a third of claims, which
Yeah.
is just outrageous.
Yeah,
So
I know.
there are some people who are like, yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah,
And
and then you have other people who are like, I can't believe people are cheering for the murder of a man. And like
yeah.
I understand both sides.
And
Like
other
it's
people are like, yeah, but he worked for a health insurance company, so they murdered lots of people.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I understand both sides. Like I understand the
Yeah,
anger of is it okay for a unarmed man to get shot and murdered in broad daylight?
yeah,
No,
of
no,
course not.
no. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're saying no, right? Yeah,
I'm saying no.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm saying no. I'm saying
I'll
no too.
draw a line in the sand and say no.
I'm saying no too.
Um,
Yeah, that's the ticket.
but also, apparently, like lots of CEOs, they've lots of companies that have taken down pictures of the CEOs from their websites because they don't
Yup.
want their CEOs to be targeted. And I read this week that like one security company is getting like flooded with calls because the CEOs are fucking scared and they want protection, which is kind of hilarious.
Yup.
Um,
Batten down the hatches.
and also the other weird thing is, outside of the shooting in broad daylight and the fact that he's not found, is apparently there's some security footage of this of the suspect, the main suspect, the alleged shooter, and he's very attractive,
He's a handsome.
and people are crushing on him.
Yeah, but see, I heard that wasn't him. Like
Oh, it's not?
I heard
Okay.
somewhere. I'll look, but I heard somewhere that the picture that they put out it wasn't him, and now that guy
Uh-huh.
is like getting harassed like crazy.
Oh no. Well, I'd hate to think that they got the wrong guy, but
I'll look
I'm
it up.
not
I could have sworn I
shocked.
saw something like that.
But yeah, but as Colin Joe says, like, so this guy gets shot in broad daylight, and our two big takeaways are our healthcare stinks and girl, that shooter hot.
That assassin can get it.
And he's and he's apparently, you remember like a few years ago there was that guy who had like the really hot mugshot, and I think that guy like became a model
Yeah, yeah, he did.
after. Yeah, and I forget what the guy did. It was I think it was something heinous, but
Yeah, it was something I forget, like Prison Bay or something like that. But yeah, I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. Online is insane.
The internet is a wild, unruly place.
Yeah, and like truly, if you are attractive, people will forgive almost anything.
Yeah, being beautiful is it's pretty
It's like a
great.
superpower, you
It
know.
really is. Like people are nicer around you when they talk to you, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
hey!"
you don't necessarily have to develop an actual personality or an
No,
intelligence, or yeah.
everything you say is interesting and intelligent, and
And look, I'm not really accepting myself from this phenomenon. I mean, like if Ana de Armas like did something heinous to one of my family members, I part of me would still be like, oh hey, so Ana, what are you doing after? Oh
yeah,
what?
let's
Oh okay,
okay. Oh, you're wiping my family member's blood off your hands. Okay, well, when
okay,
after that,
okay.
do you want to get a ice cream?
Yeah, you want to get some froyo?
Froyo. Oh, bring back
That's my
Froyo.
game. Yeah, that's
Yes.
my game.
Wow, that's some strong game, pimp.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, my game. I'm basically like Ralph Wiggum, where it's you. So you like stuff?
My card was really funny. It says "Choo choo choose me," and
Yeah.
there's a picture of a train.
If you pause the tape right here, you can actually see his heart rip into two.
Damn, that's that was some cold blooded shit. That whole episode, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm identifying way too close to Ralph Wiggum on this one. I better turn this off.
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
I was, I was like, oof, this cutting deep.
Uh, but anyway, back to update. Yeah,
Uh,
they also talked about the Biden pardon, and I like the line they said Hunter celebrated way less than he used to. That was
yeah,
funny.
I like that one joke that Che preferenced by saying, "All right,
Hmm.
this is may not be the funniest joke, but it's a very smart joke. So if you don't get
Yeah.
it, you're not that smart." And he's saying, "National Pretend to Be a Time Traveler Day was tomorrow."
Yeah.
Good
Which
joke.
solid joke. I like that joke.
Yeah.
As a nerd, as a geek, I approve that joke. That was a great joke.
I like I also like the other joke to talk about Billy Long, who Trump picked to lead the IRS.
Oh
Some
yeah,
considered others, but Billy Long was just head and shoulders.
yeah, because he's one of those guys. His head basically just merges into his shoulders. He
Yeah,
he doesn't.
he's like
He's a necklace man.
Humpty Dumpty in a suit.
Yes, yeah. You remember Jabba the Hutt? You
Ooh,
remember, you remember that guy in Monty Python's Meaning of Life who exploded after he had the wafer thin dinner mint?
yes,
It's basically that.
that's going to be our new head of IRS. So
Yep.
yay!
Yay!
Uh,
January 20th can't come fast enough. By which
no.
I mean January 20th, 2029.
Yes.
Yeah. The next 4 years are going to be a living hell.
Oh,
Anyway,
oh, good lordy.
and then we also had a death segment with Heidi and Marcelo as a mom whose son just got famous. And so Marcelo's the son who just got signed to an NFL team, and Heidi talking about that.
Yeah, just Heidi doing it up as Heidi does,
Mm-hmm.
talking about how her son had to sacrifice having a personality.
Yeah,
Ugh.
because he committed himself so hard. Yeah.
Yes.
And I like how they said at one point, they said, some people shouldn't ever become rich. And there was an immediate cut to Colin.
That was funny because that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, I enjoy it when they dunk on Colin, and I especially enjoy it when they dunk on Colin out of nowhere and like
Yeah,
this. So, yeah, this was
exactly.
fun.
Yeah, that's just a fun little death segment.
Hmm.
Heidi is the mom thirsting after Shaboozey,
Yeah.
asking where is he. He's going to show Shaboozey her
Yeah, that's
Shaboozey.
true.
Shaboozey.
Yes.
I was like, ooh, they got away with that one. Ooh, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Marcelo played it pretty straight as the subdued
Yeah.
son. Repeatedly saying trust the process
The
and whatnot.
subdued and the Dom mom. Ha.
Hey, I see what
See
you did
what I
there.
did there? Yeah.
Singer. And then they
Yeah.
kind of leaned on the fact that the family's last name was Dookie.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of, we are Dookies. We do not crumble even when you put the squeeze on
Yes.
us. We still stay solid.
Right.
Dookie. Poo poo.
Ha.
Doo doo.
Feces.
Doo doo doo. But
Yeah.
cute enough. I thought
Cute
that was,
enough. Cute enough.
yeah,
Agreed.
fair enough.
Not one for the ages, and I'm not nuts when it's like, and here's our recurring character whose character trait is announced in their name.
Yeah, they gotta
They
we
they
gotta
got to get away from that. They got to you got to try a little harder, guys.
let's name one of them. Give one of
Yeah.
them any name. Any name.
If they did Rosanna Dana today, she'd be like, and now, lady who's hard of hearing.
Yeah.
Like, let us discover the joke. Don't just announce the joke right at the top.
Yeah, Emily Latella had a name. Let's
Yeah.
get. I mean, all right, yes, drunk uncle. All right, he didn't have a name, or
Yeah.
I think it was like around the drunk uncle girl.
You wish you hadn't started a conversation with at the party. Yeah.
That's when it all started.
And that was fine, but it's become a sickness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's think of names, people. Names. There's nothing wrong with names.
Let's have some names. Yeah.
Yes. But overall, not a bad weekend update. I thought the jokes were pretty solid, strong as they always are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That segment, cute.
Yeah. It's all right.
Yeah.
You know what this show needs, Darren?
What does the show need, John?
This show needs a little Dismukes. A little
Ooh.
Andrew Dismukes.
Da 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 da.
Let's have a little Andrew Dismukes in a sketch called Brilliant Lawyer.
This sketch is raw, uncut Dismukes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's like straight into your veins. Just
pure, yes, pure.
It's Dismuking all up in your business.
Yes, pure Bolivian Dismukes.
Yes, the best kind of Dismukes.
Mm-hmm.
His name is just so fun to say, Andrew Dismukes.
Dismukes.
So it's a final day of a trial. Paul Mescal, he's dressed in like this neon yellow suit and a Devo hat. They called it a green suit, but I was like, that is fucking yellow, dude.
It was like lime or light lime greenish.
It's like highlighter yellow.
It had like flames on it too, like a like a roadster or speedster.
But Dismukes is his lawyer, and he's like, hey, don't worry, I've got a plan. And then he calls a witness back to the stand and says, oh, can you identify the man that you saw robbing this place? And he's got like 20 other guys behind Paul Mescal in the same outfit.
Ha ha!
And then he has them all shuffle.
Shuffle!
And
Now
the
can you
lady,
tell?
yeah, and the lady still points him out easily because he never changed his seat. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, it's that man sitting right there in the front.
Yeah, and then of course that was his whole big plan to like confuse the witness into not knowing which
Right,
one was his client's. Because if he can't point out the client, then how can we trust her testimony? So this
right.
whole case should be dismissed.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing you see on, lawyer TV shows all the time. Not to that absurd degree, but yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've seen that on at least one Perry Mason type show where they have somebody else dressed up and it's like, oh, but that's not actually my client. That's some other rando. And yeah, that's probably a mistrial, or you'd get what a bad court thinking. What is it?
Uh.
When they do in contempt,
Oh, okay.
you'd be found in contempt.
You sure it's that bad court thingy? That seems more
That's
legitimate.
why I'm the. That's why you're the judge and I'm the law talking guy, the lawyer. Right. Oh, I miss Phil Hartman.
Oh, we miss you, Phil. We miss you every day.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And yeah, and I like how Dismeeks is talking to Paul, and it's just oh, so that was Plan A and Plan B, and he's like, wait, the shuffling was Plan B.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Plan C. If you don't dismiss this case, I'm going to kill myself.
It's like, sit down, sir. You're not going to kill yourself.
And then he offers the judge oral. And
yes, if you dismiss, yeah. And after he says he's not going to kill himself, he goes back to Paul saying, "Got some bad news, buddy. It didn't work."
Yeah.
And then he offers him oral.
Bizarre, not unfunny.
Yeah,
this is another one that was odd, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, this felt like something out of The Simpsons for real. Like,
yeah, it kind of did. It was operating on a very cartoon logic, so
yeah.
I enjoyed it in that regard. And
yeah, and also
you put somebody in a Devo hat and a yellow highlighter color suit. That's just funny right there.
That's just comedy right there, baby.
Yeah.
And also, some people spotted they also had a black man in there in a
yes, they did. They did.
highlighter suit and a Devo hat. That's new writer Carl Tart.
Oh, hey, okay, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So maybe he had a hand in writing this.
Congratulations, Carl Tart.
Yes, we salute you. But I don't know. I love this mix sketch. I dig it. I dig his vibe.
He's just so uniquely himself, and I love it when we have a unique comic voice on the show, and it's not really duplicated by anybody else on the show. And that's Dismukes provides that in spades. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Good stuff.
yeah, I got a kick out of this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not a bad sketch. Not too shabby.
Next, we had a little sketch called Spotify Wrapped. It's like end of the year. Lots of people on their social media, they're posting their Spotify playlists for the year, like what their most listened to things are, and it's this whole thing. I have not been able to participate. I'm not a big Spotify guy.
You're probably better off.
I have a Spotify account, but I never really use it.
I mean, I use mine daily just because I love to have music when I'm working, and I just like to discover new bands and stuff like that. But I mean, from what I've heard, Spotify isn't that great a company. They don't pay the actual artist much. And
it's like fractions of a cent. Yeah.
Yeah, from what I understand, like the actual person that owns the CEO of Spotify actually has more money than like the most well-off, wealthy artists on Spotify. Like I think he has.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that a CEO is bad?
I mean, hot take, guys.
Wow.
I don't care who I offend in here. Like, I might get canceled.
Okay.
Watch out.
Better get on your city bike and ride to the Port Authority now, Darren.
That's right. I guess so. Did you hear this other thing where, like, they found the backpack that the guy was wearing in, like, Washington Square Park, and they opened it. It was full of, like, Monopoly money?
No, I hadn't heard that.
I think I read that somewhere, and I think a friend of mine
What a weird detail, huh?
Yeah, I think I heard that somewhere, and a friend of mine was like, yo, this motherfucker's the Riddler.
I did see somebody, coincidentally, I just saw, like, I think it was yesterday, somebody had posted a story on their Facebook account, and they were selling something, and then they met up with the person, and she realized after the person left, they paid him in like fake money.
Oh.
So they stole this thing, and it's just ugh. What
That's a
is a
bummer.
scuzzy thing? People are the worst.
People are the worst.
Yeah,
The absolute worst.
yeah.
So, I mean, with Spotify, you get to show what you've been listening throughout the year. And Spotify
Hmm.
Wrapped has become this whole big thing now that people do to just show what they've been listening to
Yeah.
everybody on social
You know,
media.
honestly, now when I want to listen to the music, I just listen on YouTube usually.
Ooh,
That's,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, that's what I
That's a
do.
good
That's
good
that's
way
how
to do
I
it.
roll. That's how my Gen X ass rolls.
Oh, you're a
I'm not down with
YouTube
this whole
man, eh?
Spotify thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that's for those sellouts.
yeah.
Yeah, so
That's for you Gen Zers.
yeah, with your
I go
Spotify,
YouTube.
listening on the ticker talks and what have you.
Yeah.
Not me. I still listen to LimeWire, baby. I download like that. I'm on Morpheus, motherfucker.
So Paul Mescal, his playlist. He's the most listened to artist is Satoshi Gutman, and who's this character played by Bowen.
Yes, he's the anti-instrumentalist sound guru. He's the best anti-instrumentalist sound guru out of Dundorf, Maryland.
Yeah,
And
and he plays like a clip from his podcast, where he does a song called "Y'all Made Me Celibate."
calling his fans
Um,
bastards, loving life in the new
yeah,
year, my bastards.
yeah,
And then we also
and then there's a cameo from Trisha
Paytas.
Paytas,
Yes.
who I had to look up because she came on, and I was like, "Who the fuck is she?" I've never heard of this person in my life. I had to Google her, and
Yeah.
oh, actually, wait, I did look her up. She does have a Wikipedia page, and I took a photo of the opening of her Wikipedia page, so I've got it. I got it right here. Hang on.
Okay.
She is an American media personality. Her content consists of a wide variety of genres, including lifestyle oriented vlogs, music videos, and mukbangs.
Yeah. The fuck is that?
Mukbangs. And I was like, I have no idea what the fuck a mukbang is, but the text is in blue. So there's apparently a link I can follow to find out what the fuck a mukbang is, but I didn't want to know that badly. It says,
Sounds
sounds dirty.
sounds really
Um,
gross.
yeah. I don't know if I want to know what a mukbang is, and it's Mukbangs. It says, as of July 2022, she has accumulated roughly 5 million subscribers and almost 1 billion lifetime views on YouTube. And, she got like a little bit of applause when she showed up. But I was still like, who the fuck are you? Why should I care? I have no freaking clue who you are.
Trisha Paytas. She does
Trisha
mukbangs,
Paytas.
John.
She
Mukbangs.
does mukbangs. Just like, what the? I have never felt more old or out of touch. I was like,
I
she does mukbangs, and the Wikipedia page is just straight up saying that like I'm supposed to know what mukbangs
I,
are.
I don't know how the world works anymore. I just
Neither
don't.
do I. I feel so very old, so very very old.
Oh, my bones. I'm so old.
Yeah, my brittle bones turning to dust.
Uh,
Anyway, yeah, so she showed up.
yeah. That's really. There's not much to the sketch.
No, there isn't.
Kind of it. Yeah.
This was one of those sketches that was just kind of weird for the sake of being weird,
Yeah, it's just super weird. And if it wasn't for this Trisha Paytas pop
Yeah,
up, I don't think anybody would have remembered it. It really is.
no.
It's just like, all
Yeah,
right.
I guess it's getting a little traction because of her cameo, huh?
Yeah, I guess she's a big deal. So it's like, oh, just put her in there, and people will watch
Yeah.
it just because she's in it, even though she's not doing much. She's
You'd
just
never heard of
there.
her ever either, right?
Is it what now?
You hadn't heard of her either, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
Had
All right.
no
Good.
zero idea. 0.0.
Yeah. Same.
But yeah, I don't know. The sketch I thought was, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And our 10 to 1.
Mukbangs, folks.
What? The sketch?
Mukbangs. Mukbangs. I just want to say mukbangs a few more times.
It is a fun word to say. I will give you that.
Mukbangs. I have no idea what a mukbang is or how you do one, but okay, more power to you, Trisha. What's your face?
Gave her the old mukbang.
Yeah.
Yeah, all night.
Sounds like a good date to me.
Hubba hubba.
Mukbangs.
Ugh.
Anyway, 10 to 1.
A complete unknown red carpet. Bang.
So yeah, there's a biopic about Bob Dylan, Timothy Chalamet. That Timothy Chalamet son of a bitch. He's playing Bob Dylan,
Right,
and we got Heidi as a BuzzFeed interviewer, and she's interviewing Chalamet on the red carpet. It's Chloe Fineman breaking out her Chalamet once again.
right,
James
and
Austin Johnson is Bob Dylan.
yeah, James Austin Johnson doing a pretty good Bob Dylan.
A pretty good Dylan and incredible makeup on him. Really good makeup job.
Yes, absolutely. I was like, wow, all right.
And we've got Dismukes as Springsteen, as Bruce Springsteen, but he looks more like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he's not even trying to do a Bruce Springsteen impression.
He is. If you showed that to me cold, you'd be like, "Who is Dismukes playing here?" I never would have guessed Bruce Springsteen. You could give
Yeah.
me 100 guesses,
So,
and
I do like the way he played it though, where it's like this kind of hammy guy saying,
mhm.
"Maybe I was born to watch this movie." Am I right, guys?
It was so bizarre. I mean, it was one because usually the impressions on SNL are so good. Like when one comes on that's not so good, you just scratch your head, and this
Yeah.
was kind of that.
I
So
I think he knew he didn't have a Springsteen impression in him, so he's just like, all right,
yeah,
let me just ham this up and play it as it's a goofy
lean into
character.
how bad how bad this is. Yeah,
Yes,
it
absolutely.
was that was probably. I think you're right. I think you're right. I
Uh,
don't know why they shouldn't try to make him look a little more like Springsteen because they did such a great job on the makeup, the Bob Dylan makeup on James. So,
right, and I do
and then
like.
I think the part of the reason this was written was Paul Mescal was probably like, hey, I can do Bono.
I'm Irish. He's Irish. Let's do
Yeah,
that.
we're both Irish, so whip some sunglasses on me and I'll be Bono.
Erin Gobara. Erin Gobra.
I did like how Bono says like, oh, I just watched a documentary about global warming called Hot Frosty.
Yes, I just found out about that movie too, and how everybody like loves it on Netflix, and it's
Yeah, because apparently it's about like this snowman that comes to life as a human, and he has a romance with a human woman,
yeah, and
and
he just like
so he's a hot frosty the snowman.
yeah, apparently he just like he has like abs and everything, and just kind of walks around shirtless for the first.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why
Why
not?
not?
Hey,
Look. If we can have the movie Splash about Tom Hanks falling in love with a mermaid, why can't we have a movie about a lady falling in love with a hot snowman? Why not?
love
What the hell?
exactly. I think the guy's played by the dude that was Ted in Schitt's Creek, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
So all you Schitt's Creek fans, you get that.
all right.
Um, but yeah, overall, I thought the sketch was okay. Dismukes kind of made me chuckle. It was kind of hard to make out what J was saying as Bob Dylan sometimes.
So good at a Bob Dylan impression, you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Unintelligible. Yes, he
Yes,
nailed it.
that's what you want.
Yes, I did like Dismuke's line about talking about how his favorite Chalamet movie was Wonka because he grew up in a chocolate factory town and remembers the day they closed it down, where Daddy went drinking, Mama ran off in an Oompa Loompa. But of course, like all my stories, that's not true.
Yeah. So it was all right. Kind of petered out,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, not much there, but there's a little something there, but it wasn't
Yeah.
the big. It
I
wasn't
mean,
the
look, I enjoyed Chloe Chalamet and I enjoyed James Austin Johnson's Bob Dylan, and I liked like at the end. I think Heidi is the interviewer. She asked the three of them like, "Oh, rank Rory's boyfriends on Gilmore Girls," and they
Ooh.
all had the exact same order. That was funny.
Yes, that was a good way to close it out.
That was funny because she was like, "Oh, this is going to be horrible because like,
They're old
why
men,
would
and
yeah?" But
but they nailed it.
yeah,
And then that's the episode. Overall, not a bad episode. Serviceable, pleasant.
pleasant. Yeah, passed the time agreeably. Like most SNL episodes, it was best at the beginning, and then just
Mm.
it lowered expectations as the evening goes on. So you know,
SNL.
yeah, SNL, yeah, yeah. So like when we edited it down to an hour, you'll forget about the bad sketches, and so like 15, 20 years from now, you'll just be like, oh, that show hasn't been funny since 2024, and
Yep,
be like, oh, that's a hot take you got there.
yep. And the circle of life continues.
The circle of life. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, not too bad. Paul Mescal proving to be an apt host.
Hmm.
It was an enjoyable evening, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen worse. I've seen worse this season.
Oof, we have indeed.
So
All right, but
Oh, and hey, we they announced some new hosts for the rest of the year.
they did announce some hosts. So we got our last two hosts for the year of 2024. December
Yeah,
14th next week, Chris Rock and Gracie Abrams. Chris Rock coming back for I believe this is his fourth time hosting.
that sounds right. Let's say fourth. Yes.
He hosted back in November 2nd, 1996 with the musical guest The Wallflowers. Then he
Hmm.
November 1st, 2014 with Prince, the big Prince show. Holy moly!
Damn.
Then October 3rd, 2020 with Megan the Stallion. And
Like there is nothing that is more of a snapshot of like what year an SNL episode was than hearing the names of the musical guests. So we go from the Wallflowers to Prince to Megan the Stallion. That's
yup,
wow. Pop
that's
music
why.
microcosm there. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I talk about the old like shows, I always like to mention the musical guests just to really give you a vibe of the year. Like I think there was one time when
Yeah.
the musical guest was like, the Cult or what Dream
Hmm.
Machine or something, and it's like, wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chris Rock coming back to host for the fourth time. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm always happy to see Chris Rock. You
Yeah,
know,
okay,
look. If nothing else, we're going to have a hell of a great monologue. He'll have some interesting things to say. I'm
yeah.
sure he'll talk about the election a bit and that sort of stuff because that's still sort of fresh and all that. And maybe we'll get to see some of his old characters like Nat X. I always
Ooh.
enjoyed the Nat X. Who else we got? Who were some of his other characters? I'm trying to think.
I mean, Nadex was the big one. I don't think he had too
Yeah.
many big. I mean, there was I'm chillin', but
Oh, yeah. I mean, he wouldn't do that because he did that with Farley, so I
yeah,
can't see
but
him bringing that back.
yeah, but he did bring it back one. I think he did it with like Jim Brewer, like back in the day.
Okay, then I'm a liar. All
Yes,
right.
filthy
Then what the
goddamn
fuck do I know? I only host an
stupid.
SNL podcast.
But yeah, I'm hoping for a good show. I know as a host he can be kind of maybe not the best, but I think he's
Mhm.
serviceable. Um, I know I'm the worst.
Just damn him with faint praise, sir.
I think so because like he is one of the greats as far as stand up comedy goes. But as far
Yeah,
as
that's
like when he
true.
hosts a show, there was like, okay, this was okay, and I don't
All
know.
right. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and plus I wasn't a huge fan of his last two specials, so I'm like, all right, I'm going in with
I'm
tempered.
behind on his specials. I haven't gotten to see his last few specials. Were they on Netflix or
Yeah, the
where
last
were
one
they?
was the live one where people thought he was really gonna take
Right.
shots at Will Smith for the slap, and he did. He addressed it at like the end.
Well,
Um,
sure. Yeah, you don't want to do it right up top because you blow your wad early.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I think his last one, I think it was called like Selective Outrage or something, which kind of
That
scared.
sounds familiar.
Yeah, that kind of scared me. It's like, oh my god, is he gonna be one of these? Oh, you can't say what you want to
Woke is
anymore.
ruining comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, like I watched it and I was like, this is. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so but he's coming back to host for the fourth time. Let's see what he does. And musical guest Gracie Abrams, new pop star on the rise. I know a lot of people are kind of giving her guff because they're ringing the nepo baby bell because she is the daughter of famed director J.J. Abrams. So
Oh.
yeah,
Oh, okay. So expect lots of lens flares and underdeveloped stories and mystery boxes. And
damn, homie. Okay.
I don't like J.J. Abrams.
Uh, I feel like I did at one point, but then I
Yeah.
noticed he kind of went to his bag of tricks one too many times, and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he just does
Yeah.
this.
Okay. So J.J. Abrams kid. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so wow, I didn't mean to bring the party down. Okay,
No, that's okay. That's okay. All
okay,
right.
well, and
Look, hey, if it wasn't for J.J. Abrams, we wouldn't have Chris Pine. So,
there you go.
yeah.
See, there you go, silver lining.
Yeah.
And on
Um,
December 21st,
but I mean, but hey, look, has she done any mukbangs or mukbangs? Has she done any mukbangs?
she hasn't done mukbang. She has done mukbutts.
Okay, that sounds like an Eskimo thing, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I
Nanook.
tell you, as soon as we finish recording, I'm gonna Google what a mukbang is. I'm gonna find that out, and then I'll be surprised.
Nanook gave her the old mukbuck. Ooh.
And then winding up December, who do we have?
December 21st, Oh my God, for the 5th time, Mr. Martin Short and musical guest
Yes.
Hosier.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Now you're cooking with gas, baby. Yeah, so
Yeah,
this will
come
be
on.
this will be the 5th time he has hosted. He officially hosted back on December 6th, 1986, along with Steve Martin and Chevy Chase.
I remember that one very well.
Music,
Yes.
musical guest Randy Newman. December
Uh-huh.
7th, 1996, he hosted by himself. Musical guest No Doubt. December December 15th, 2012, musical guest Paul McCartney. And December 10th, 2022, that's the episode he did with Steve Martin recently with music.
Yeah, we covered that one on the
We
podcast.
did
Yes,
cover
we
that one.
talked all about that.
Go
Yes.
back and listen. Yeah. And the musical guest Brandy Carlisle. That was a good
Brandy Carlisle. Oh, yeah, I remember being very impressed with Brandy Carlisle. I wasn't terribly familiar with her before, but yeah, she was great. And
one.
who? And look, I mean, how are you not ecstatic to see Martin Short somewhere? I mean, come on, he's a Martin Short. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah, Martin Short has been able to do this thing that I don't think many comedians has done, where everybody from each generation likes him and thinks he's funny. Like
Yeah,
boomers
that's
like
true.
him, Gen Xers like him, millennials like
Hmm.
him. You know, probably because they're only merged in the building at this point.
Yeah,
Gen Z likes him. Everybody likes him and thinks he's hilarious. It's
yeah.
weird.
He's just a charming guy, and I mean, I'd love just seeing him on talk shows, and he's one of the best roasters. Watch him roast Conan O'Brien. He's like, hey, like whatever plastic surgery you're doing, get 20% more and then stop. I mean, just killer. And it'll be fun to see him hosting by himself again. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this is a good way to end out the year. To get the
yeah,
strong
ended on a high note.
ended
Yeah,
on a high note. I've high expectations for that show are quite high.
yeah. Hopefully we can see some of his characters revisited. We could get a Ed Grimley, we could get a Nathan Thurm.
Ooh,
Who knows?
what Jackie Rogers Jr.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah,
Oof.
he's done that on SNL again uh, recently. I think he did that when in the Paul McCartney show.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Martin Short one and the musical guest Hosier. This is his second time on the show. First time he was
Hmm.
on the episode where Bill Hader hosted. So
Yeah.
looking forward to. I mean, I'm sure he's a fine musician and fine performer. I think he has a new single out. So either way, I think the Martin Short episode it will be a strong way to end out and close out the year.
Is I know the name Hosier, but I'm like hard pressed to say what he's done. He wasn't the guy who did Somebody I Used to Know, was he?
Oh no, that's fuck with that. That's some other dude.
But it's a similar name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone I used to know. Hold on. That was used to know someone that I used to. Yeah, that is Gautier.
Gautier.
Yes,
Okay. Not Hosier.
not Hosier. It's Gautier.
It's Gautier.
Yes, Oprah
We
Uma.
need to get those two crazy kids together.
Get them in a room.
Yeah. We need
Hosier.
we need like an Uma Oprah thing going on there.
Yeah. Hosier. His big single was "Take Me to Church." Take me to church. Dibba dibba dabba dibba dabba dibba dibba bop. Scooba doo dabba dibba dabba dibba dibba bop. Remember that one?
Well, I don't care for his lyrics.
No, he has
I feel like he could have tried a little harder there.
he has actual words in there. I was just being a silly Billy.
Oh, well, I don't actual words. I don't care for that.
Words? No, music should just
No,
be
I want all scatting in my pop music.
Bozy bop diddy bop.
There you go. There you go.
Now that's music.
Now that's what I call music.
But let's go on to Twitters and see what our good fans thought about this episode.
Okay, all right, fine. Let's go into Twitter.
All right. Friend of the podcast.
I don't like going into Twitter anymore.
Oh, I'll go for us. Don't worry.
No, okay. You go ahead. I'll look them up.
All right.
Yeah,
So our good friend Manette Morani said, "I wanted Church Chat bat, but this was underwhelming except for the Sabrina Carpenter joke." Oh. And it was embarrassingly obvious how Marcelo was being pushed this episode based on the monologue just because of his new fame with Domingo. But the rest of the show was good at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I do notice it. It seems like they are like, hey, Marcelo, the broads like you. Go out there and get us some ratings there. Like they are making the push to make him like the new guy. It seems like.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. I don't know. Is it just a flash in the pan? Is he the new? Is he the new hot person?
Mm,
Um,
caliente.
yeah.
Um.
By the way, just apropos of nothing, I got to see Kate McKinnon was on Stephen Colbert's show
Ooh.
this week, and you should check that out if you haven't seen that. She's actually written a book.
Yes, children's book.
Yeah, and she and Colbert just had a love fest. It was great. He was like, "Yeah, I haven't met you before, but I think I love you," and she was talking about how influential Strangers with Candy was for her. And yeah, check that out. Just give Kate McKinnon and Stephen Colbert a googs, and yeah, check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Kate McKinnon's a national treasure.
Yep. And okay, so our friend Boardman Gets Paid says, "Hi guys, I hope all is well. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Aww.
thanks. It didn't suck. I usually love just about every episode until you guys say you hate it, and I hate it too, like the sheep I am. LOL." And then he says, "I don't know what it was, but I wasn't feeling this one. That's it. Peace, heart." Well, Boardman, I hate to tell you, you actually like this episode.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
change your views about that, man.
I'm sorry, your opinion is demonstrably wrong. You enjoyed this episode. You thought the last sketch or two petered out a little bit, but other than that, you thought it was a pretty solid episode.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yes, that's what you think.
Mm-hmm. And
we're not going to abuse his power at all.
Nope. So then we heard from Lucho Blanco saying one of the most original creative episodes in a while. Either the host inspired the writers to up their game, or he was game for everything they pitched him. The cold open, the crazy family, the gladiator pre-tape, the pirates, PDD, and musical guest, and 8 of a show.
Ooh, well,
Right.
Sounds like they really liked it. I guess that's an 8 out of a 10.
Lucho liking.
So, wow. And lastly, Techie says, "Daddy's home and brought a serviceable ep."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if I care for that daddy business, but
Yeah.
yes, I would say that this ep was at the very least serviceable.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah. Another episode in the books, and that's our episode in the books, ladies and gentlemen. As always, you can follow us on don't follow us on Twitter.
No,
follow
Twitter's
us on,
dead.
Yeah, Twitter is dead. Long live Blue Sky. Follow us on Blue Sky at SNL Nerds, and you can follow me on the socials at Darren Credible. That's DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on the socials except Twitter at Trumbull Comic. That's TRUMBULL and the word comic. And, follow us there and help expand our base and, share our links and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Listen to us on YouTube and donate to our Patreon at Non-Productive. Do all those things to help us help you.
Yes. But mostly helping us.
Yes, help us.
Yes.
Please. We need help.
All right. So we'll be back next week with Chris Rock and what was Abrams' kid's name again?
Nepo Baby Abrams. Gracie Abrams.
Nepo Baby Abrams. She's probably perfectly lovely.
I know. We're being this.
Yeah, we are. But, hey, he started it with the making some disappointing movies.
Yeah, Gracie, it's your dad's fault.
That's right.
He started this war.
But anyway, yeah, we'll unpack this all next week and see where we stand. But until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.